Hi everybody, so today we're gonna make one hard recipe. It's gonna be a souffle. So let's get started. First, you're gonna start off with 2 large eggs. Separate the egg yolk from the egg white. Make sure you get no shells in there. And make sure you washed your hands right before, because the easiest way, I think, is to just scrub it by hand. Take another bowl. I took a much larger bowl. If it breaks when it goes in there, let me go wash my hands and we'll continue from there. Okay, so now we separated the eggs. I got a little bit better angle now, but you could leave the egg whites. We're not going to use it for now. We're going to start with the yolks. And you're going to first pour in 1/8 cup of sugar and start with mixing. You have to make souffle exactly by recipe, because if you won't, it will not turn out the same. Lighter, just like a little baby color, like they call baby pink and baby blue, so maybe it's baby yellow. So then we're gonna pour in 1/4 cup of flour. You do not need too much flour because it will get a little thicker, but next up we're gonna add some milk. Okay, so get the milk. So that's gonna be 2/3 cups of milk. Make sure it's room temperature, and if it's not, you could just put it in the microwave for about like 10 seconds. Okay. Next up, we're gonna get a pot. So I have this pot, this small pot. Compared to this bowl, it's like tiny, but it's gonna be enough. I only have this big bowl because I just like this one. It's a little bit easier because you won't spill everything out. So then put that aside. Make sure the pot is good, and let's go cook it up. So now you want to turn on your stove to low. So then you want to start mixing, and keep mixing till it hardens. I'll show you how it looks like, so you guys know how it looks. Begin to become a very jelly consistency, kind of. It's kind of hard to explain. It's like pudding. Yeah, it's like pudding. So it might take a while. Let me turn it up a little bit more. I have a gas stove, so you can kind of hear it anyway. And don't worry if it doesn't do it like in a minute. It takes just a little bit longer. It's not just boom and it's done. It takes a couple minutes for it to become the consistency. So it's getting a lot thicker, as you can see. It just started getting thicker, and it's like getting, as you can see, this is becoming thicker. And once it becomes this thick, you turn off the heat and mix it up. It's kind of harder to do this with one hand. So let me just mix. So is it because this thick? It's like, it's also good to use a spatula. And now we're gonna add vanilla extract and a tablespoon of vanilla extract and a tablespoon of butter into the mix. I feel like this might be a little too thick, but it's not too bad. And so you could, this is when you're done, and before you add it in the vanilla and butter, make sure you have it off, because you're only supposed to, once it starts forming and then finishes, turn it off. So now let's go back to that area. Here is, I just changed to a spatula because it would be easier. Get that ball again. And I just washed it and to make it easier for me. And now you just plop it in. See how the jelly is? Then you're gonna cover it in plastic wrap just to make sure that it won't dry out. I have no clue what that was, but you could touch it. And you're gonna have to wait till it cools down, which will be about like 30 minutes, but it depends where you put it. Like, if you put it in the fridge. If you put it in the fridge, you can leave it in there for a few minutes. I'm gonna wait till it cools, but you'll practice see me in a couple seconds whenever it's cooled. Then we're gonna start the second part with the egg whites. But I'm not starting it right when it cools. This is for you guys. So like once it cools down completely, then you're gonna start beating your egg whites. Because egg whites will deflate, like they will go down, become watery if you leave them for too long. So we're gonna start with that later. So I have this large cup. You're usually supposed to use a smaller one for the souffle, but I have this one. This is oven approved, so you want to cover it in butter to make it a little bit sticky. And you can make the butter at room temperature or heat up the cup. Then you're gonna want to pour in some sugar, and then make sure it goes to all the edges. I spilled a little, but that's okay. So I turned on the oven to 315. So give me a second to clean this up. So now we're gonna blend these egg whites that we left over from those 2 eggs until their stiff peaks gonna show. I'll start blending since I don't want to ruin your guys' ears. So now what you're gonna pick it up, blend it a little, and then pick it up. You can already tell right there, look how high that mountain is. And then you're gonna turn it over, and if it stands still, it means it's done. And this is done. And this is when I add my sugar, because if you add the sugar too early, it will actually ruin the egg whites. So this is why I add it later. And it's 1/4 cup. So now it's done. We're gonna move on to this. So it's cooled and it's barely even warm. Get rid of the plastic. And I'm gonna blend it to make it a little. And now we're gonna add. And then you're gonna add this egg whites bit by bit and folding it in till it's all gone. So now once it becomes this creamy and a light yellow, you're gonna pour it into this. Oops, down at the camera, but you're gonna pour it all in. Make sure you get every last drop of it to fill it up. It looks like mine does not fill to the rim, but that's okay because it'll still rise up. You're gonna spread it out everywhere evenly, and I'm gonna do a little tapping to make sure it's smooth. And we're gonna put this in the oven for 13 minutes. So this is the souffle. And it's really hot. as you can see. So you have it in the oven for till it's golden brown, and the longer you wait, it will deflate. Since it didn't fill mine all the way to the rim, it's like it still grew, but you can't really tell. Sadly, I would have to make a double batch for this one. But other than that, it looks good, and you can even top it off with powdered sugar, and there's so many different flavors you can make in it, and you can just start eating it, and it's super delicious. So now let's give it a try. So look at this beautiful inside, and it's kind of gooey, so it's like a really good flavor. And let's test it out. I love it so much. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.